Jeff Brown. Give it up, everybody. Yeah. So, Jeff is running for mayor, and the election is on Tuesday, so this will come out Monday. So, guys, go out, go vote. Your vote counts. It's our city, so please go out there and vote. So my first question is, Jeff, why do you want to be mayor?
Well, if you know my story, I'm a Philly guy from
Right.
the Northeast, and my dad had a grocery store in West Philly. Mm-hmm. And we've taken care of people in the neighborhoods of Philadelphia for a real long time. Mm-hmm. Like I'm 59 years old, almost my whole life we've been doing it.
Over 50.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. And things are bad. I mean, we've gone through a very tough 7.5 years. And as I'm a little later in my career, I'm in a position to help. And I just want to help turn the city around because it's disturbing.
Yeah, and so we'll backtrack a little bit, right? So where are you from originally?
Northeast, the Bustleton section.
Oh, Bustleton, yeah. And then we just found out that you're an Abington alum, just
right.
like us, huh?
Yep.
So after that, I knew that your father had a grocery store, correct?
Yeah, at 40th and Girard in West Philly.
And is that how you kind of got into the grocery store game, I guess you could say? Like, how did that all come about? Was that
my dad worked 7 days a week, like really long hours. He had a small store. And if I wanted to see my dad, I had to go to work with him. So starting at 8 years old, I started to go with him to West Philly to work in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And so I'd go there, he'd leave me with the workers, all from the neighborhood. And I just try to help customers, and I bonded with them. And like I have two worlds in my head, the Northeast world and the West Philly world.
Yeah.
And I look at the world through both lenses because I'm trained in both ways.
Yeah.
And I think it gives me a unique advantage.
Yeah, I would say so. And also I think, me and Aaron were talking, like Aaron is a grocery store guy himself since you're 15? 16, right? So do you think like having a way for someone that age to stay out of trouble, to work, to get into pretty much like a career, do you think that's something that can help the community as well?
Oh, totally. I was chairman of Philadelphia Youth Network, which is the workforce system of Philadelphia for youth. And I was on the board for like 17 years, a chair for 5 or 6 years. We helped 200,000 young people get their first internships.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, a paid internship.
Yeah.
It's everything to help your life go in a good direction.
Yeah.
This is all about keeping kids, young people busy with productive things. To learn stuff, to do fun things, and to build skills for the future. Yeah. And young people that get a chance to do that, their life turns out a lot better. Yeah. If you have nothing to do, your life could go in a bad direction.
100%. And so after that, right, you're working at the grocery store. How did you kind of go into owning like multiple shop rights, right? And kind of like, how did that transition happen just for people because a lot of people, they start working at a job and then maybe they don't realize what else they can do in terms of expansion or growing. So like in your sense, like what was your idea and mindset? And then also how did you do it, I guess?
Yeah, so the first thing is, the greatest thing about a job is you get paid and you can learn. And so I worked in the grocery store and I learned the business. That was a plus. Then the big debate in my family, because my dad didn't go to college and my mom got her GED. And so the big debate in my family is, do I go to college?
Yeah.
Because back then, not everyone went to college.
Of course.
And so, my mom was like, you got to get a college degree. My dad was like, no, come in the grocery business.
Yeah.
They were arguing about that. Anyway, I was looking at my dad. I really admired him, but I thought maybe there's things I could learn to do better. So I went to college. I went for a degree in entrepreneurial studies at Babson.
Seems like you used it.
Yeah, it was very helpful. It was very helpful.
Go to school for something you're actually going to do. Because I can't say how many people are like, I went to school for psychology. No offense to you guys, but and then you're not a psychologist, right? So.
No, I think that's right. I mean, I used it as a tool. I don't think everyone needs to go to college. Depends the career you want. But I'm like, my dad taught me some things. I want to learn some other things. So when I graduated, I came back and I was my dad's CFO for a couple years.
Oh, great.
And he sold out and retired.
Oh, nice.
So then I was out of a job, and when I was working for my dad, people were deathly afraid of ShopRite coming to Philadelphia. Gotcha. They're like, ShopRite's so strong, they'll put us out of business. And I'm like, hold it a second, why am I with the one who's afraid?
Yeah.
I want to go with the one who makes people afraid.
Exactly.
And so I ended up going up there at 23 years old and telling them, I'm your guy to go to Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
And it ends up they gave me a chance.
Nice.
That was 35 years ago.
And also a big thing, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast and just with other pretty much people that we've had on, is how important do you feel it is to, because a lot of kids I feel in the city are malnourished, where you have a sense of the only places they can eat are fast food or, like poppy stores, right, you could say, or Chinese shops, or like just pretty much places that you just get fast food from. And how important do you feel it is to have something like a grocery store in like any kind of low-income neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's been our work. I mean, that's the work I'm most passionate about. And the work is defined as, today, it's defined as a food desert. A place that has a swamp of bad food, processed food, and no fresh, affordable food. And our work for much of my career, we're getting stores where they weren't. So people don't have to eat gas station food, which just makes you sick. Because it's all processed.
Exactly.
If you want to eat it once in a while, it's fine. If that's all you get to eat, you get sick. And so that was really the nature of my work, figuring out how to do it. And I think it's critically important because it's hard to be successful in life if you're sick. And bad diet leads to sicknesses. And so that's what we tried to change. Matter of fact, the life expectancy of someone that lives in a food desert is 20 years less than someone a mile or two away. So not only you're sick, and it affects your capability to be successful, and you end up dying a lot younger. And that's my career, to try to stop that and to change that.
Yeah, and I think also, like, I remember growing up in school, right, before like the PSSAs, what they always say, like, have a balanced breakfast, right? To think better. It actually helps with brain function as well. So I think a lot of kids, when they're malnourished, they're also not getting the brain functioning that they need, makes them make bad decisions, makes them irrational. Because if you're hungry, you'll do anything to get some food. So, but yeah, so you're running for mayor, right? How has that been? Has that been fun? I feel like it's one hell of a time, isn't it? It's a busy thing. Kissing a lot of babies, shaking a lot of hands, right? Moving around. So, like, has it just been crazy pretty much?
It has been crazy, but I've had a good time. And I'll tell you why. My favorite part of my job as a grocer is getting and giving love to all my customers, all my employees, listening to people and solving problems. That's like a lot of this job. And so we've been to every neighborhood. We've been to restaurants all over the city. We've been to stores. I've met a lot of people. Like, I can't tell you how many people I have photos with. And that's been a blast. That gets me charged up. Because when I meet the people, I know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because of the troubles they have. I want to help them. And then the negative part is politics is nasty. It's a really nasty thing. And
come at you.
And I'm like the straightest guy in the world. Like, I follow the rules, and yet they keep on inventing these articles about me, and like, it's just crazy how nasty and deceitful it is. But I try to like just focus on the job.
Exactly. And I think, if you don't have any haters, you're not popping.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The haters are good. The haters mean they're listening at least.
Yeah, right? If you had no chance to win, no one would be hating on you.
Exactly, exactly. Also, so a big thing too, how we kind of, or at least me, how we started following you is, so we had Saud from Country Cooking, right? She came to your location, she started doing, she pretty much was selling her items there. It's like, how did you guys collab in that sense?
So Saudi reached out to me a number of years ago. And she was pitching me on different ideas, things we could collaborate together. And like, I'm that way. You can reach out to me on social, I'll meet with you, and we'll see what, that's how we're meeting today, right?
Exactly.
And we didn't quite have it at first. And then she had a little legal troubles, which I think I was helpful. I testified for her in court, and I think that helped her out.
Nice.
And as soon as she cleared that, we were kicking around ideas. And first we did one item, seafood salad. And I thought that was a great item. And she did a bang-up job at our Phuck Street store. And then, production problems, this and that.
Sure.
We were trying to figure out what to do. And then she came back and she says, hey, I want to open a full-service restaurant in Monument.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And she's been there a few years now. And she is very, very entertaining.
Oh,
the food is great, and she's incredibly entertaining. And it's been quite a ride with her. She'll just call me up out of the blue and say, let's do it live, and let's buy some stuff, and I'll just do it.
Yeah, she's a social media queen.
She is. She's amazing. She's very interesting, and she has very loyal followers, and she has grown that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think have you actually been ever able to finish a platter? Because I haven't. I don't know who can.
They're huge.
They're huge. It doesn't make sense. It's like, you eat it for like 3 days, which is nice. So when you go there, when you go to Country Cooking, you get a platter, just know you don't have to eat, or you have food for 3 more days, I'd say, whatever she's giving you. So also,
And it's not just her. We have a small business incubator, but she was certainly one of the early
Sure.
entrepreneurs we dealt with. But we have 400
wow.
local entrepreneurs now, and we built a whole system in our Southwest Philly store, where we have a panel of business experts that work. They're volunteers, and we volunteer.
Yeah.
We don't charge anything. You
Yeah.
come in, you pitch us like Shark Tank, except for no money changes hands. We're just there to help. And we have incubated these entrepreneurs by helping them design their products, price their products, understand their costs, set up their businesses in a smart way, and then let them test it in our stores. We do pop-ups.
Nice.
And if the pop-ups hit, like people like the product, we work with them to try to get a permanent relationship.
that's awesome, and like it seems like you're a big supporter of local business, entrepreneurship, which I think, because of pandemic and even before, Philadelphia lacked a lot of, well, at least I would say successful entrepreneurs just because of support, right? So it's like people just weren't supporting as much. So I think it's really cool that you're supporting all these businesses. You're giving them a platform, a place to be, which I think is, what a mayor should do. Now, all right, crystal ball, right? Tuesday, Jeff Brown wins. What is your first actions? I don't know what it's like to be a mayor or a politician, so like, what are your first kind of, or at least you hope? Because I also understand about politics is, you want something to happen, and you got to go through, hellfire to try to get one little thing done. So, crystal ball, like if you could, like how would you start it, right? Like first months of being mayor, I guess.
Right. Well, before you become mayor, May 17th or whatever, a week or two after, you have to start building a team.
Yeah.
Because the city is 26,000 workers.
Yeah.
And so you can't manage that yourself. And they have all these different unions, they have city council, they have state laws, federal laws, it's complex. And there might be a couple hundred leadership positions that have to be filled. Do you want to keep the persons there? Do you want to get someone different? And I think it starts out with like, what's my vision for the city? What do I want to accomplish? What talent do I need to get it done?
Yeah.
And so from let's say June until the end of the year, there is an election in November, but usually Democrats win. So
Sure.
I kind of assume it'll be that way. But June to the end of the year, it's building the team. Like I need a team that's just super motivated and dedicated to our cause. That's what we'll focus on. January, the new mayor takes place, and I want to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And so the first thing we want to do is there's like 50,000 abandoned cars in our city. It's like blight on our neighborhoods. It's tying up parking spaces. I want to get them all picked up.
Get them out of here.
Yeah, do something big,
Please.
bam.
Yeah.
And then, in the first 100 days, it's a new budget. The way it works is city council approves the mayor's budget. And in the new budget, that has to have everything that you want to do, all your priorities. And so what's not as exciting to everyone that's watching, it's getting all your priorities and figuring out the mechanics of how it fits into the budget, how you're going to pay for it. We'll be working on that. We'll still be finalizing our team, getting the people in place and, getting everything adjusted. But besides that, we have a horrible crime problem.
Yeah.
And the question is, what early interventions can I do to try to mitigate some of the horrible, violence that we've experienced? And so we'll be working with the police and the criminal justice system to try to get quick action for progress.
Yeah.
And the same with, the city's dirty.
Yeah.
And, people are dumping everywhere. We want to make quick action to try to improve that. Because these are things that give people hope. Like this guy's here to do something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm after.
Gotcha. And yeah, we were talking before, there's this quote floating around. I don't know if you said it or not, but there was some like, pick up your something trash.
Pick up the damn trash.
I thought it was fucking, but I like the damn. I think it's a little bit more, right? So, and I agree to that 100%. I think that's something that is just.
And what happened is when I announced, I did say it, so I take responsibility. Some people love it, a lot of people love it.
Dude. I'm impressed with this.
And some people are mad at me for it. But the truth of the matter is the city is dirty.
Yeah.
And you got to call it the way you see it, because when you call out the problem, then you can fix it. If you can't call out the problem, you can't fix it.
I agree.
And I think it's a memorable statement, and people know how I feel about it, and I'm aiming to fix the filthiness of the city.
That's awesome.
No more Philadelphia. We're going to fix that.
No more Philadelphia. You hear that, guys? Jesus Christ. I love it, dude. So just a couple questions that me and Aaron kind of brought up too. So, Aaron asked. Actually, do you want to ask it, Aaron? Do you have it up for you?
No.
Oh, never mind. All right, I'll ask for Aaron. Do you like what the city is doing with sugar/soda tax? How does this affect your business?
Yeah, I don't like it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. It's a tax designed to tax the poorest, most vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And if I could just give you a comparison, you know, the poor, a lot of the lowest income people, that's a pleasure for them, you know, to have a soda.
Yeah.
And you know, like I know people that go and get a latte, and that has more sugar in it. They dump sugars in there.
It's a milkshake.
Right.
I hate when
And-
people are like,
and-
"You get a frappuccino, Tino,
Yeah,
whatever."
and no
It's
tax on that.
crazy. Yeah.
And so it seems very inequitable to me, and I don't like it. But the fact of the matter is, as much as I don't like it, our current budget's subsidized with a lot of federal dollars that are going away.
Gotcha.
That's one concern I have. And the second is, we might be going into a recession. Seems like there's a good chance. So I'm thinking for practical purposes, there's not much I could do with taxes in the beginning of the administration.
Sure. And then also, with being in the grocery store business, converting food waste is a growing topic. So what is your stance on food waste and trash?
Yeah.
You talked about the trash part, but I guess
Yeah,
food waste.
yeah. Well, I'll talk about both.
Yeah.
And when we started this a long time ago, I want to say more than a decade ago, we've been working on food waste.
Yeah.
And we have diverted close to 90% of our waste.
Yeah.
And this is really interesting. So I met this lady who had a nonprofit in Pittsburgh that partnered with Uber to make basically make an Uber app to get volunteers to pick up excess food from grocery stores and restaurants and bring it to soup kitchens and public housing. And so the nonprofit my wife and I set up, Uplift, partnered with them, and we brought it to the Philadelphia region. And that was one of the tools that we invented to eliminate a lot of our waste, because if food is close coated, we pull it off the shelf. But if you ate it right away, it'd still be good.
Yeah.
And so we built a system to divert all that to a useful purpose. And then we gave after it built up and became millions of pounds a year, the nonprofit Uplift that we founded contributed it to the Share nonprofit. That's a big food bank. And so that's one of the things we did. We also recycle a lot. And you know, that's not it. We've been very conscious of our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
We have stores that have full solar systems on the roof. We've switched probably 10 or more years ago to 100% LED lighting.
Yeah.
Like, we don't talk about it because people don't really ask us.
Sure.
But we have a very competitive environmental program.
Yeah. Awesome. So, also, like, with all this, right, is there any programs that you feel could help the community out in terms of, like, maybe kind of just keeping the kids out of trouble a little bit? So,
Oh, totally.
if you have any ideas of any kind of programs or that you've discussed before.
Yeah, we'll start out with, I'm from a family of 4.
Yeah.
And my mom kept us busy all the time. And I have 4 sons.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, you keep our sons busy, they're not going to be in trouble.
Exactly.
We just make them so busy they can't get into trouble.
Exactly.
And that's what we did. That's my model of what's right. Because kids are rambunctious and they got a lot of energy. They need to spend that energy hopefully doing something good.
Yeah.
And I think the city is underinvested in that.
Yeah.
So you hear the story the last couple of years, no lifeguards. They have a year to get lifeguards. Why don't they have lifeguards?
True.
They're spending millions in rec centers to fix them up and then no programming.
True.
What's the sense? I mean, that doesn't make sense. And I ran Philadelphia Youth Network, where we placed 200,000 young people in summer internships paid, you know, which is cool as hell
Paid
to get a couple,
internships,
get a
you
couple
said,
bucks
yeah.
in your pocket. And we turned down a lot of kids because we never had enough resources. So I think we need a keep kids busy all the time strategy, in school, out of school, in the summer, and I think it will help our crime problem a lot.
Awesome.
And you'd have a much better outcome with the young people.
I agree. I think just keeping people busy is the best
It
model.
works for adults too.
Yeah, me too, dude. I need to do something or else, you know, I might end up in jail. No, I'm sorry, not in jail, but something like that. But, so I guess, so with Philadelphia, do you have a favorite cheesesteak spot?
Yeah, it's funny. I have a bunch.
Because listen, this is our thing. We're the cheesesteak. People call me the cheesesteak guy now, which is annoying because I do other things, but it's annoying that I'm now a cheesesteak guy. So
I'll give you my list.
yes, there you go.
All right.
A list is good. I like that.
Yeah. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been in Chubby's in Roxborough.
Chubby's is
That,
good.
that was good.
Yeah.
We were at Pat's.
That's so
recently. And I'll tell you, people say it's a tourist trap. But I got to tell you, that was a good steak. It really was.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Different
really.
styles.
Yeah, the steak itself was excellent,
Yeah.
and then the bread and everything. And you know, I like the Nick's in Reading Terminal. Nice pork sandwich with broccoli rab. That does it for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my 3 favorite.
Those are good. Those are good chicks. So,
And we got, and I can go with you. If
Please.
you have another place to show me, I'll be down with that.
We have like a million places
All
to show you,
right.
Jeff. Now your list was a little green. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, I got
we
it.
some spots
I got it.
for you that we
I'm
can
open
really
to
see.
learning.
Yeah, of course, dude. I love it. So I guess not to hold you up too long. We've been pretty much like half an hour, but I guess the last question is, why do you fuck with Philly?
I was born here, and I've worked here all my life. And Philadelphians, they matter to me. And you know, you got to be about something in your life. And for whatever reason, you know, divine intervention or whatever, Philly is my thing. The people matter to me. They've been suffering, and I want to try to help them do better.
Beautiful. Now I guess to finish, if we can, maybe just say your name and that you can either say I fuck with Philly, and if you don't want to say it, you can say I love Philadelphia.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah,
because
let's do that.
I'm a Maryland guy.
Yeah, I was about to say someone's got it.
I'm Jeff Brown. I'm running for mayor, and I love Philadelphia.
Yes, sir. And until next time, kids, this is Fuck with Philly. Mwah.